Hey guys, it's Double Wide 6, and this morning I'm working on a clock that's, I believe, from the late 1800s. The clock isn't working, and I got this from my mom, and it was actually her grandfather's, and he died in about 1975, and my mom remembers this clock being in my grandfather's barn, and I guess it has some sentimental value because when my grandfather was in the Navy, I guess my grandmother went and lived with her mother, and my mom lived with her too, and my mom just remembers seeing this in her grandfather's workshop, and it used to work, and now it's not working. And my mom said something's wrong with the pendulum because this wire's kind of hanging out of here. And anyhow, she asked me to take a look at it and see if we can't get it working. So that's what we're going to do. So I don't know much about clocks, but I know some things about woodworking. And this is made out of quarter sawn oak. And if I even can get the thing working, there's a pretty big crack running through here, so we're gonna have to glue that up and get it fixed. And this whole bottom thing is wobbly too, and you know, this padding isn't original, and neither is this little block of wood, so I'm not sure if my grandfather did that or my father did that. But we'll open up the back of this thing and we'll take a look. I guess I should mention I unhooked the pendulum. Looks like it's adjustable, and it was just kind of hooked on. And this is a wind-up clock, and this key, it's hard to see, but it says Taylor. It's just about worn off, and I don't know if this is original or not. 669, and it has kind of like a square head on each end. But my father gave me this with the clock when he asked me to fix it. So I removed 2 screws, and you can just kind of pick up the back. And I noticed, I was looking at this board, this thing was actually hand planed. There's kind of like high and low spots on it, and you can see whoever made this glued it together. And you know, it's not plywood or anything, and you could see it was rough cut with a bandsaw. That's why the lines are straight and not curved. That's how you know. So definitely an antique. And if we look inside here, I noticed that the clockworks actually have a date on there, and that says 1907, and it looks like there's a name there. I'm going to try and read what that says. So I went and got a Q-tip, and I tried cleaning off the name. It says William L. Gilbert Clock Company, Winstead, Connecticut, USA. So this one's American made. So I've been studying the clock, and I'm trying to figure out if this is the original movement. I noticed like some Phillips head screws in here, and I don't think that they're original, and there's like some blocks. So I don't know if the original mechanism broke and it was replaced later. You can see how there's some areas that aren't stained. Maybe these blocks broke loose. I'm really not sure, but these screws on here look to be original, these flatheads. I just don't know. I don't know if you bought the clock kit and the numbers and hands and then you built this yourself, or if you got the whole clock. I really can't tell. But regardless, it's definitely handmade. My great-grandfather who had it was actually a doctor. I don't know if he was much of a woodworker or carpenter, but as my mom said, he had this in his garage, which was kind of like a barn. So I'm not real sure. And anyone that knows anything about clocks, if you want to post something in the comments and let us know what you know, that would be cool too. So this thing here sticking out the bottom, that little hook, had the pendulum hanging on it, and my mom told me that that should not be there. Something happened and the pendulum dropped down. And when we look in here, you can see this is the other end of that hook, and it looks to me that that actually broke off of this little flap here, and you can see how it was soldered. So I believe that's the problem. So you see how that sits there? We're going to actually try and solder that on there and then reattach our pendulum. So looking at this a little closer, I can tell that this little piece of brass broke and the other end's actually connected here. And I think we can slide this guy out of here. Look at that. And this thing, it wants to work. So there's a wire on here. I'm gonna pull that wire. Maybe I can just slip this thing out. And I think I'll be able to solder it up on the table. There we go. Well, I had a heck of a time trying to get that little piece to slide back in through that slit, but I got everything back on there, and looks like this is going to need to be fixed. I'll give you an idea how old this thing is. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pendulum on here and hang it on the wall and see if it works. So I just put it on the wall, and I'm having an issue with the pendulum. There's a lot of play in here, and it's hitting this spring. So I'm gonna take it back off and see what's up with it. So I took it down, and there's a little hook there, and I flipped the hook so it was facing 180 degrees. I had it going backwards, I guess, and now the pendulum seems to be aligned. Well, I just wound the clock and just kind of set it at midnight, and then I was going to watch to see if it holds time, and the thing started ringing, and you can hear the clock ticking. I got my pellet stove running. I don't know how well you can hear it, but it's tick-tocking, so we're going to see if it keeps time. Well, I've been playing around with this thing a little bit, and I'm not sure if this is the original key because there's like two things to wind here. One of these you wind clockwise and the other one you go counterclockwise, and the key has two different ends, so I don't know what the smaller end would be for. It doesn't fit there, so I don't know, but the key does fit, and you know, I could wind the clock, and I have no idea how long. You know, what do you wind it, once a week, once a day? I don't know, but it's still ticking away. I set it to 1 o'clock just to hear it chime again, and I'm gonna let it go a little bit and see if it keeps working. Alright guys, so the clock's been running here for about almost 45 minutes, and it seems to be holding time well. This was a pretty neat project. I wasn't sure if I'd be able to fix it, but it was fun to look at it, and it was nice to actually find the date. The clock's 110 years old, and it's been in my family that long, so I know my mom's going to be really happy that I got it working for her. I still have to go through and do a little bit of woodworking. Some of the pieces are cracked. The whole bottom frame is about ready to fall off. So the only thing that I don't know how to do is clean off the gears or what to use. There seems to be a lot of like grime in there, and I'm going to ask if anybody knows what to use to clean that without damaging anything, to let me know down in the comments. And you know, if you have any comments about the project in general, you can put them down there. So thanks for watching, and Happy New Year to everybody. Take care.